mate.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Education. We're back. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, mate. How are we doing?
Well, just trying my best, but everything's all right my end, my friend. How are you?
Good, mate. Good to hear. Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah. Just like getting on with life, mate.
Yeah, loving it. Well, we were just chatting very briefly before we came on air, and Paul had a flood.
Yeah.
In his studio a few weeks ago, and we had all that rain. So Paul is looking calm and in his usual, Paul style of just, but he's been facing adversity and just soldiering on as always.
Yeah, it was a nightmare for about inches of water, as I was saying, and all my power adapters for my cameras, laptops, lighting. I had them all. Well, there was about 4 inches of water. Some of the 4 inches of water. And I'm just looking at the skirting board now, and it's all stained all along it, and that's where all my power adapters were. So, yeah, I'm without a few of them.
Bad times. Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about great technique that Paul's going to show us, and we're going to also introduce you to some new Joico color shades from the Youth Lock range that are brand new, and we've been using them for a little while now, and they are absolutely fantastic, beautiful shades. Some of my favorites. Paul, do you want to introduce to everybody what you're going to be using today?
Yeah, so we've got some new Youth Lock colors in the Lumishine range. This is the range, the range which is designed to take grey hair and give it its luster and youth again. So there's some really nice ingredients like collagen and stuff like that we'll talk about in a bit. But we've got a couple of new shades in the range, which is the NNW and the NNWC, and that's what I'm going to be using today. Some like warm coppers. I'm going to be doing a simple technique, but what I want to get through today with James is that we're going to be basically just doing like a salon, what we would do from Joico's point of view, from start to finish with a colour. So we've got the Defy damage here as well that we want to talk about and tell you what those do. I know we touched on it last year, didn't we, James?
We did, yeah. And what I'm just trying to do at the moment is actually show you these shades that they've brought out. I'm just going to... Oh, no, don't do that. Christ. Hold on a minute. Right, let's see if I can... Yeah, there we go. Share.
Bring them up. So how is everyone? I think there's a few comments in there like Mazala, Mark, KY, KC. So yeah, hello everybody.
It's 5 a.m. in Chicago. St. Mark, you hero.
Why did we pick such an ungodly hour? Well, 5 a.m. is the time for winners, Mark. So
well, it's not an ungodly hour here. For some reason, I can't share my screen. Let me just try and fix this.
If you want to fix it, mate, I'll just talk through what I'm going to be doing and why I've got this mannequin head here. And then when you're ready to go, just give me the thumbs up.
It's asking me to close the window, which will close the stream. So I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So I've got this mannequin.
We'll skip that. We'll share them with you another time. I don't want to cut the screen off. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. in London. Exactly that. So St. Mark, what in the future, if you don't want to join in live at 5 a.m., although as Paul did say, it's the hour of winners.
Yes.
You clearly are a winning kind of guy. Then it's happy days, isn't it? You're probably up already, eh?
Yeah, I bet he's been in bed. Well, maybe not. What day is it? Monday. Oh, he could still he could just have got in from a club. So yeah, this mannequin is a toned mannequin to try and get it as grey as possible with a little bit of root on there. This original was a 4SB from the Lumishine glosses, and then this is 10V and 10SB to try and get it a real sort of grey, which works perfectly for today. We're going to be doing a darker root anyway. We're going to be using the level 5 NNWWC. Is it WWC or WC?
Let me just click on to get this exactly right, because so it's 5 NNWC.
Oh, WC.
Is 5.0074 for anybody that likes numbers.
I think I was just thinking of wrestling. WWC. WWF. Well, no, WCW, wasn't it? Yeah.
WWF back in the day.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to use a level 5 on the roots, and we're going to be using on the mid-laps and ends a level 9. Also to show you guys, because these aren't out yet, or they might have come out just this month, so swatches aren't out yet, so we can see what we're going to do. But I'm going to take you through what I would do with Defy Damage as well, and then we're just going to talk it through.
Good. Yeah. Also, some of the shades that are already available in the range is 2NN, 4NN, 5NN, 6NN, 7NN, 8NN, 9NN, 10NN. Then you've got 3NNA, 5NNA, 6NNA, 7NNA, 9NNA, 4NNG, 5NNG, 6NNG, 7NNG, 8NNG, 9NNG, and 10NNG, which are all just very good shades when you're predominantly covering grey as your primary target. You know, most of the colors that I do on my clients' root tints, you know, when we're dealing with grey are quite simple formulations in terms of, I don't like to overcomplicate people's regrowth, you know, when they've got white hair, etc. And I always try and stay within 1 to 1.5 shades of their base color naturally.
Yeah,
they do have that. I mean, yeah, of course there are exceptions to these rules, but you know, like let's say they're salt and pepper, they've got 50% of their natural, they've got 50% of their white hairs. The idea of taking them more than 1.5 shades, they're going to get a regrowth either way, then grey hairs. You're going to create a cocktail of problems. So it's not necessarily, I believe, a wonderful idea to take people too far away. Now, obviously, if we're putting coppers into people's hairs and stuff like that, then, you know, unless they were red naturally, we are starting to deviate in terms of tone. But then there are a lot of clients out there who, when they go and they get white hairs and they start to think about coloring their hair, they don't always want to just go straight in to the naturals. They want to maybe experiment with a bit of warmth. So I think these are great additions to the range. And obviously your skin tone cools down as you get older, as you lose melanin in the skin. So having those warmer shades in there, I think, are really, really very valuable.
Perfect. And yeah, I mean, we're working on such a high level as well. We're going to see what the WC does, because obviously we're going to be pre-filling a little bit, like on the fly with it, which is built in with the color. But the NNs, the double pigment of tone, is there to give that coverage, and that's what we predominantly want with grey. If somebody wanted more of a not a blend as such, if we wanted a blend, we could go in with the glosses or the DD creams or the chrome. But if we wanted more of like a dimensional, I suppose you will get dimension with this. But if you wanted that sort of softer dimension, then the Lumishine normal color permanent creams are absolutely perfect. You get a little bit of translucency somewhere, but it gives you that real, like James was saying about the regrowth. If you don't want a hard regrowth, it will just give you that sort of softness already built in.
Perfect. Right, they're going to make you the primary target. So everybody, oh, that's right.
So I'm just going to jump into Defy Damage. So what we'll do is we'll just talk about that first, because I know we touched on all of this last year, but just a shout out again to Joico for supporting me and James with the lives. Yeah, it's amazing that they are giving us this opportunity to come to you guys and bring you like new launches as well. The whole team get them, but we get to bring you like little sneak peeks and everything like that on lives to help you before you get to see the swatch charts or you get to play with it yourself. So yeah, we're really grateful for Joico supporting us in that respect.
Mark has said, St. Mark has said, I'm here to cause trouble for the sexy beast again.
He's not here, mate.
I was gonna ask who that was, Mark. Good. Tony says hi to everybody, by the way. Yes, go Paul.
Hey Tony. Yeah, OGs of the live, because a lot of you are.
Live. Yeah, the OGs are with us. Yeah, I mean, yeah, to see.
So we're going to be bringing this once a month, and there might be little extras in there now and again that we're going to do. I know me and James have got plans to do quite a lot of stuff, but life is life at the minute, and it's just very, very hectic. But yeah, we're going to be bringing you some good stuff. So what we do when we come with a color, Defy Damage isn't just for like lifting or bleach work or stuff like that, like where people use a lot of plexes. So this is just to basically fill any gaps, protect the bonds, porosity, making sure that we're going to get a perfect coverage, and that we're working on a really, well, trying to take it back to a bit of like a blank canvas, fill in all those gaps before we go into colour. And this is why I love using Defy Damage. So we just shake it first, because there is like a powder consistency if you don't. And then we just basically work it through rough sections, don't have to be sectioning out. And then you just want to spray it down the hair, spray it down the hair. And then again, as we twist around, just rough sectioning down the hair, down the hair. The only, well, a top tip, if you're working around fringes, is I would not go anywhere near the client's face, and I would just spray it like that, just so it doesn't go in their eyes or anything. And then what you do is you just want to comb it through, and you can already feel it. You can already feel this mannequin hair was a little bit tangly, but once you've got Defy Damage in there, it just detangles as well. When that isn't necessarily a thing of it. It is something that it just does. So when it comes to colouring, it's just much easier to section through and everything like that. So yeah, Defy Damage is a winner for me. But that was Pro Series 1. While I start colouring, James, do you want to talk about Pro Series 1 a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say about some of the ingredients in the colour, actually, but we'll go back to that in a second if you want. But I mean, I am a big fan of that Defy Damage spray. It is, and if you've not tried it and you're into, you know, other bonding services, I genuinely believe it's well worth giving it a go. There's a 3-step process, if you will, to it, and so it has like a phase 2 that you apply when you've washed off your color in its entirety. So similar to other bonders, if you're used to bonders in general, then you'll definitely, you know, feel at home with the process. However, what I will say about spraying it on like Paul just did there in front of the client is they get to see it a bit more. And if you're charging extra for it, that theatre, if you will,
yeah, definitely.
It's something they're like, oh, okay, you know, they feel like
they've got an added service.
There you go.
They've got an added service, whereas when you mix up in bowl, it's invisible.
Yeah, and they don't, and it's not that they don't believe you're doing it, of course, but equally, you know, at the same time, you do want them to feel like they're seeing that little extra bit of theatre. And so, you know, Joico were very much, I think, probably one of the first people to talk about plexes, RG Plex, and one of the, you know, they weren't going on about it like, you know, the brands that kind of hit the market with just one plex, one with a bond builder, you know. And so from a marketing standpoint, you know, it wasn't their kind of only, you know, trick in the bag. So it maybe they kind of, you know, it wasn't as obvious that they were doing, you know, bond building services. And so therefore we, and Paul and I have both agree that that was a bit of a shame, really, that, you know, they weren't singing it from the rooftops and other people came in, and now it feels like a bit catch up. You know, when we talk about it, I'm sure people think, oh yeah, of course. But, you know, genuinely, one of those things that you know has been happening with Joico products for such a long time is that they've had bond builders inside them.
Yeah, I mean, like Quadrine Complex in Vero. So like James was just saying, oh, hang on. Yeah, Joico were the first, where is it, to put like bond builders in products, and Mark did ask a good question actually. Why are we using an added bonder if it's already built in? Which is a great question. And my reason for that would be is because prevention obviously is better than cure and everything like that. But we're dictating what the hair actually needs. So with the colour, we know it's already got it in. We know we're going to be really, really set. But we also have our 4-step hair repair. So where Defy Damage is going to stop there being any more breakage as such, we've got the hair repair system, which will, if somebody's hair is already damaged, we can look after that as well. But with it being built in, it just gives us that added security.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's really everything we can do to improve the quality of our clients' hair. You know, should they need it, you know, I think it's very important to think about that. And also, I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen the results from the Pro Series spray when it comes to lightning. I know we're not doing lightning today, but when it comes to lightning services, the extra lift that you achieve by using the spray over not using the spray is quite remarkable. If you want to check it out, they did a really good side-by-side comparison on like level 3 hair, where they sprayed it on the section on the left and it went probably at least a shade and a half lighter than the section on the right. And I've seen other people do experiments with that particular product. And I think that, you know, obviously you have to try it, and it's not hugely expensive. That's the other really good thing about it, is that it's not actually crazy expensive. It's not like buying into some of the other bonding services where, you know, it's hundreds of pounds of buy-in. You know, you can give it a whirl, and it's, you know, without it incurring, you know, masses and masses of cost. You know, and I think it's one of those products that until I used it, I had that like slightly skeptical, like as if it's going to help my hair, the colors lift. But I do a bleach on a client, and she's very dark, and we always got a yellowish result that we then had to work hard on the toning phase to correct. Along with the Joico 9 levels bleach and the spray, we're now getting it to a clean end result that just barely needs toning. So I think for me, that's been wildly time saving and reduced the stress of colouring this client's hair, which I'll take every day of the week.
Definitely. Yeah. Can you open up another window at all? Like not a tab, like another Safari or Google, and then bring that as in like a share screen? Because if not, no worries. It's just that what that picture you were talking about of the side by side is just amazing. Whenever I show clients that, when we're sort of upselling as such with Defy Damage, to say, look, if you do want that level of lift that we need to achieve today, then I've got like not a trick in my toolkit, but I've got something in my toolkit that will really benefit trying to hit that level 10, level 11 today, whereas normally, say they've come from another salon and their hair's always kicking out yellow. So you're thinking, right, I really need to get past that level 9. And if they're telling me no one's ever been able to do that, why would I sort of risk not using Defy Damage to help give me that extra level or two? But all I'm doing on the roots now is the 5NNWC, because it's already a little bit of a root melt in there. I'm just going to be doing that, and then we're going to be blending the 9NNWC into the lighter part. And just to show you really that grey coverage colours don't have to just be about covering grey. They can be used for a multitude of things.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to see if I can bring up this Safari might work. So let's see.
Okay.
Paul, in terms of trends in the salon, what are you seeing now? Are you still seeing lots of root melts, root shadows, root stretches? What's your take on what's happening?
Yeah, with colour, definitely still. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I'll give you an example, and I'll go back to that. So obviously, we've been seeing wolf cuts and now the butterfly cut, which are all happening, and we've seen the Bixie. And then you look at our industry press, Hair Journal, Creative Head, they're only just sharing about wolf cuts, how to style a wolf cut and stuff. But as like forward-thinking hairdressers, we've been doing them for, well, probably 2 years now. We've been doing them in lockdown, weren't we?
Yeah. Longer than that. My wolf cut's about 4 years old.
Yeah. So you've got that, and whereas with our industry press, who you think, right, they'll be sort of bang on the button, they're only just promoting it now. I think commercial magazines, Glamour and everything, Vogue, they're sort of latching on to trends quicker than what the industry is right now because of the likes of TikTok and everything. So when it comes down to trends, it's moving so quickly. But one trend that I did see today, which is what I'm going to be doing after here when I'm filming today for some videos, is it's called delicate lights. Moving away from that really, and this is something I've been doing with my express colours. So I've been doing a lot of express colours in the sense of like 15 foils up to 35 foils, and it's just all about the placement, but it's about giving the like softness to it, like delicate lights. I think is quite a nice way to talk about it with clients, because if they're thinking, I want to move away from really intense blondes, or look, I've been brunette forever, I want something a little bit soft. And I just love these names that get bandied around, the delicate lights and stuff. I just think it sounds really bang on trend for the winter months.
Yeah, the video, I haven't called them delicate lights, but the last two of the last three videos that I made on the channel were, you know, in a nutshell, you know, about using superfine highlights, you know, mixed with maybe root shadowing or just leaving them as they are, and not many foils, but a big impact for a few foils. And you know, I think those, and you called them express, but for one of the things for me about the word express is that it cheapens it a bit. So if you're using that sort of dialect with your clients, it can be careful, is probably what I would say. Because when people say express, they think cheap. So you've got to be a little bit careful with the words you use.
Fast food.
Sorry?
Like fast food sort of thing.
Fast food, yeah, exactly. So I would be a little bit wary, guys, of saying, you know, express or you know, using those terminologies. If you want to say like brilliant, you know, delicate lights, whatever you want to call them, that's why words like that are more powerful. And I have talked about, you know, the power of words before, you know, and how you sell something will ultimately, you know, determine how much it's worth. Because a bet, like for example, a Bentley is a car, it gets you from A to B. Now, obviously, it's a luxury car with lots of expensive materials in it, but it's still a car. You've got to convince somebody that it's worth spending, you know, £100,000 or more on it. And so therefore, the only way you can do that is by selling it as a luxury or a status product. You know, otherwise it would just be a Peugeot. Do you see what I mean? Or whatever mainstream car you know of, you know, Cadillac or whatever. And so, you know, you say to yourself, like, how are you selling what you do to an individual? And I think it's really, really important. And it's not only how you're selling it to an individual, it's how you're selling it on the internet. Because like when you say to yourself, when you look at the sphere of how you project yourself, what does that sphere say? Because you've got this, like, this is me and I'm projecting myself to clients, to the internet, to whatever. What is that saying? Is it saying cheap or expensive? Am I using expensive words? Am I using words? Because I know that we can get, and I'll probably, you know, people say these in the comments and I've heard it 1,000 times, is that what you tend to find is that the people don't like the terminologies. People don't like the term wolf cut, shag, you know, baby light, teasy light. People want one verbiage, if you will. But I think when it comes to marketing, and Paul is really, and I'm going to say this is probably one of Paul's greatest strengths. He's fantastic at marketing himself and his brand and his business. And the thing for me is that, you know, a word like that to Paul is very powerful and useful, whereas sometimes we can be held back by our belief of words. You know, I want it to be highlights. I want a client to understand it's just highlights, but they're thicker and thinner. But it doesn't sell it. It's just highlights. They can get those anywhere then. Anyone else that's using that same term can produce that same work. So there is the power of words. And I think, you know, if you're not thinking like that, you could end up underselling yourself by having this generic verbiage that everybody else is using, and then everyone feeling that they can get that just round the corner.
Absolutely, mate. That is bang on. Absolutely bang on that. And yeah, I mean the lives I did for Joico America. If you looked at it, they were highlights on freehand, but I called them bright lights, ribbon lights, and colourful lights. And again, my stories of how I came up with those ideas. So bright lights was the bright lights of Soho, and I seen a lady looking in the shop, and the light was just pouring out of the window onto her face. She was completely brunette, but the lights onto her face lit up around her face, similar to a money piece, similar to baby lights and all of that. But I called it bright lights because I was just inspired at that moment and thought, how could I replicate that on somebody? She didn't even know how good she looked looking in that shop window. And
did you tell her? Did you tell her?
No, I didn't. I was like, that, like, she looks beautiful. I'm going to try and recreate that for my clients. And then that's where I came up with bright lights.
Love it. Right then. So Tony says, have you got a scalp repair? As I've tried everything and I'm still sore. Scalp products.
We
don't have a dedicated scalp product. Do not that I've seen in any of the ranges.
No, there's not, and obviously, I mean, it depends how intense your scalp severity is, Tony. Because if it's like doctor, like sore, then you need to go and see a doctor because they will give you like topical treatments for your scalp. And then if it is a case of it just needs to be maintained, whether it's like dry, cracking, then it's probably sort of something like Hydro Splash or moisture recovery, because they're going to be a lot softer on your scalp because they're trying to put in as much moisture into your hair. So you could use something like that, I would say.
Have you do you, just a question, Tony, do you color your hair regularly? Because that, you know, that could play into it as a factor. Okay, because you can be mildly allergic, not necessarily to PPD, or it could even be sulfates that you could have an allergy to.
Yeah,
if it's
fragrance.
Sensitive,
fragrance. It could literally be anything.
Fragrance, yeah. If it's sensitive to touch, something's irritating it. I'm reading the comments here. She's saying it feels bruised. If it's sensitive to touch and it feels bruised, it's potentially something that's going on it. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I know that lots of my clients have suffered with different types of scalp irritation just from all sorts of like random things. So yeah, definitely, maybe like when you have an allergy to something, start changing. So maybe don't color your hair for a while and see if that calms your scalp down. And then if that doesn't calm your scalp down, then change the shampoo but don't change everything at once, because then you can't measure what it is. So then maybe use a shampoo that's, you know, got a different, no sulfates, or a conditioner with no parabens, for example, and go through that way. And that way, sometimes you can figure out what's going on. Because I'm like lactose intolerant, so but I didn't realize I was lactose intolerant until I turned vegan for my son when he was a baby, when he was being breastfed by his mum. Any dairy that she ate was making him sick.
Wow.
Through the breast milk. So we all turned vegan for a while, and just, you know, help him. You know, I was just being supportive or whatever of Maxine, and trying to help Arlo to not be you know, it didn't matter if I went vegan. But what I discovered was that I realized that once I cut dairy out and milk, that my stomach aches and all the other things that came with it just disappeared. So right then, back to, is St. Mark's asking, is the Wolf Cup still happening in London? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's very much still alive, and we're seeing loads of shags and mullets and wolf cuts and hybrids of the three. US is moving back to bobs. St. Mark is saying, I am cutting a few bobs in actually, with people from longer hair, and I think one of the factors to that, it's been really hot here this year, and lots of people's hairs got really dry that they're not used to. I don't know if you spotted this, but people's hair's been atmospherically dried out. And they've spent a lot more time outside than they would do normally. And they're coming in and they're wanting loads cut off their hair, and we're cutting lobs in and bob shape. So yeah, that's happened. Are you finding that, mate?
Yeah, and I've found actually, because you said that, and I was just thinking then, I was like, God, yeah, like a lot more people are asking for retail recommendations and stuff like that, which I think is great for the industry and salons individually doing professional lines, because it's only going to benefit them at the end of the day. And I think people are coming round to thinking more about, like, oh God, yeah, I've been using whatever XYZ like product from a supermarket. When they go to the salon, it's like, actually, my hair always looks and feels great when I leave. So that's been a big thing that I've noticed. But yeah, like you say, drier consistency of hair, the ends are a little bit sort of frazzled. And yeah, we always do put it down to sort of holidays or whatever they do at home with their hair. But yeah, the heat has been intense this year. It's been lovely.
Yeah. But I definitely have seen enough of an increase in people with hair damage to think that it's something to do with, you know, the increase in hot weather. So Tony's saying about the bob being here for decades, and then St. Mark says the bob didn't really go away. No, it never really goes away, but it does come in and out of mainstream fashion. I like to think of it as like a black dress or a blazer. You know, it's always there. Whether it's fashionable or not is retrospective to the timings. Anyway, right then. I don't. No, I don't, James. Every now and then at the hairdressers once a year. So that's colouring her hair, Tony. Okay. Well, as I've said, I mean, that's not a lot. So that's obviously not it. So I would, you know, just be aware that, you know, there's a good chance that, you know, it could be sulfates, it could be parabens, it could be perfumes on any. I'm sure you've tried a lot of things, but maybe not. Is it the other question, is it dry flaky, as in are the flakes white and dry, or is it yellow and flaky and are the flakes like slightly moister? That, you know, because if it's the latter, then you're into a more visit your doctor end of the scale, where you're getting into kind of more proper dandruff end.
Psoriasis.
So psoriasis, dandruff, because dandruff is not just white flakes on your t-shirt. That's just dry skin on your scalp. But if it's sore, like you're saying, and it feels bruised, then that sounds to me like some kind of swelling or irritation, and that's definitely going to be something that's going on to your hair regularly. And just because you've tried lots of different things doesn't mean they don't have one product in common. So, like, you know, every toothpaste in the world has got sulfates in it, pretty much, apart from a few that don't have, you know, because they deliberately remove them. So yeah, there could be one common product, one common thing in all of these products that is causing this to be an issue. Dove 21, Dovey 21, blend, LOL. So Paul, give us some hot tips for your melting, you know, extravaganza.
Well, Using, we were just talking about with grey coverage, you want to go really above, 2 levels, because you're going to create a regrowth. But when it comes to blending and melting, you do want there to be a disconnection of colour, in the sense of you want the tops to be darker and the ends to be lighter, so you get that transition of colour. But a tip for me is your knuckles. Like when I'm like this, yeah, I'm just using my fingers, and then I go through it like that, because the tension changes when I hit my knuckle there, and that's what I feel. It gives it that sort of irregularity to it. I'm not doing it all the way along. I sort of do it and then just skip along a bit, and I think it's what gives it that little bit. Dare I say, like balayage.
You're using the knuckle to drag bits of dark root color further down. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then push some of the lighter up a little bit. So where I'll just spin this because they're all sort of locked in.
Give her a spin.
So where I like come down there, my knuckles here on the front of the hair, and then as I move up, the knuckle then moves up into that bit, down there. So it just gives us a little bit of a softer blend, or a more dynamic blend. I don't know, but I was just going to say like that balayage sort of look, where it's free-handed in. But if you can do it with your knuckle, then why not?
Yeah, sounds good.
And then the front was all left. It was the colour that I did before was my 3D technique, which was like 3D colour. So you had different levels of roots. So on top was like deeper, underneath was lighter, then it was deeper, then it was lighter, then it was deeper. So it looks like a shadow. But I left all the front lighter. So I'm just going to be covering this with the level 9.
Beautiful. And then you're going to blow dry that later, and then we're going to see it a bit later on, eh?
Yeah, I'll send you it, and you can put it on your community tab, or I'll do like a little video if you want, and I can,
either way, yeah. So we will both post onto our own YouTube community tabs and onto Instagram as well, Paul's finished result. So if you don't follow me or Paul on Instagram, go and check us out. I don't post very regularly on Instagram. My Instagram's more notification styly when I need models and stuff, but Paul posts on there much more regularly than I do. So Paul, you're just Paul Watts Hair on there, aren't you?
Well, Paul Watts Hair, the business. Paul Watts.life is my personal. It's just like it's a diary basically.
Yeah.
I just use it to see what I got up to.
Good.
Or what
okay, perfect.
So, yeah.
And I'm the Life of Hair on there with underscores in between each of the words, the Life of Hair. So yeah, we'll share Paul's masterpiece once it's all completed. If you want to check out any of the products that we've talked about today, any of the Joico Defy Damage or Youth Lock, then they've got both of those up on their websites. So go and check those out. There's lots of information. You can also contact them to find your nearest retailer, or you can buy it online as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've not used the Defy Damage, and it's the Pro Series 2-step that you want to be looking for, because there is a take-home product or a range of products to take home. The spray and then the leave-in part 2, or not leave-in, but conditioner phase, if you will. Yeah. Brilliant, really fantastic, and you'll definitely see an increase in condition and shine and extra lift, which is the secret gem, I feel, of that product, is getting that extra lift out of it. It really does make a massive difference, or notable. I'm saying massive. I'm going to say a really noticeable difference between using it and not using it. So definitely give it a whirl if you haven't yet. It's well worth a try.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'll get this all blow dried and everything. I might put a different cut in there as well. But yeah, like James was saying, so you can get it from, if you're in the UK, we've got 3 distributors. We've got Alan Howard, Laces, and Concepts. That's over in Wales. Salon Concepts, sorry, that's over in Wales. America, you can get it. Well, yeah, there's loads of reps, to be honest. But on Facebook, there's Joico groups as well. So Joico colour groups, and then there's Joico Insider. You can find everybody in there to link up with Joico salons if you want to try any. and like James said, you can get it online. I mean, yeah, it's everywhere where you can sort of see. If you Google Joico, like you Google anything, it is there to be got. But with Defy damage as well, we showed the step 1 that I used today, and then step 2, that is the conditioner, I suppose, that locks it all in at the back bar. But there is also shampoo, conditioner, mask, heat shield. There's a new one which is sleepover, which is a leave-in treatment as well. In America, there's some other ones that we don't stock in the UK because they're a little bit similar to what we've already got.
Yeah, sleepovers. I gave that to a client as a gift. She absolutely loves it. She's got very long blonde hair, highly lightened, and yeah, she's bought it for herself. You know, onward after using it. Yeah, she's a big fan.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it's I think, you know, a great range, a very, very underrated bonding service. So definitely, or a Plex service. So yeah, definitely give it a go. Right then, my friend, we will be back in about a month or so. So we will schedule something very, very soon, in a week or so, so that you guys can get it in your diaries, and Mark can set his alarm for 5 a.m. and come back. And I think you should have probably terrorized Paul a little bit more, St. Mark. I think because it's early, we'll let you off. But next time we need some good material, you know, and I'll make sure, Paul, I'll be doing a technique next time, and you can directly harass Paul, and you don't have to have me read it out. So I look forward to seeing that. I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are, night, whatever time it is. And Paul, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
As
so
always,
much,
my friend, I always love these lives with you.
Same.
And everybody else, this live will stay up after it's live. So if you want to catch up with it again, don't forget to check out our community tabs towards probably tomorrow at some point, when Paul will have finished and blow dried and restyled and recut, or whatever he's going to do to his mannequin. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Paul?
Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure as always. And mate, pleasure. Hope you have a great day, and everybody have a great day. But a great month.
Yes, we'll be back soon. See you later, guys. Bye.